Hi there, Dion Johnson, the womanologist, and today is Valentine's Day. And I'm just sat at my desk here and I thought about this message. I haven't really thought it through very well, but I just wanted to pop on here and see if I could capture it in one fell swoop. So here goes. So Valentine's is really all about love and giving love, receiving love. It's like l'amour, it's about romance, it's about, it's about relationship, isn't it? And it got me thinking about professional relationships, and particularly it's got me thinking about something that I've been pondering on for a few years now, in terms of my experience of working with other women to develop their influence and develop their leadership and my own, right? And I hope I can get this out. I hope I can help you catch what I'm seeing. So I really want to talk today about intimacy and influence. Intimacy and influence. So you know that my work isn't conventional leadership development. I really care about developing leaders, the woman behind the title, the woman behind the professional masks that we wear, the woman that the woman that leads rather than the leadership itself. So I'm very concerned with developing the woman, because I believe that when you develop the leader, the woman, then leadership takes care of itself. That leadership evolves as a secondary consequence of dealing with and evolving and developing and nurturing the leader. So so I get really up close and personal with the people that I work with. I go behind the mask. My style is very, I call myself a strategic ally, because it is very, I develop partnerships with my clients that we work very closely together. They let me into their private space. It's a kind of intimacy. And what I've noticed in that privileged position is that there is a spectrum, a spectrum of ease within which women can allow me or anyone else into that space, into that intimate space. And I've learned, and I think I'm suggesting that intimacy and influence really do go together. In other words, the more at ease a woman is with intimacy, the more she can let someone into her personal space, and the more influence can therefore take place. I wonder if you can see that. I wonder if you can see that the relationship between being able to influence, having influence, and filling the atmosphere with influence is really enhanced the more comfortable you are with letting people see you, letting people near you, letting people come up close and personal. And so I've been thinking about this a lot. And then I heard somebody say, remind me that there's this saying that intimacy is really about into me see. Into me see. You see, it's like a play on words, right? And I've heard this a lot, and really basically what it's speaking to is the definition of intimacy is letting someone see you, letting someone get inside and see you really up close and personal. And we kind of understand that, right? We understand that intimacy is about letting someone near, letting someone in, letting someone see you up close, vulnerable, naked. But here's the thought that I want to share with you today on this Valentine's Day. I understand into me see, but there's this other thing that I've been playing with called into you I see me. Into you I see me. And really what I'm speaking to here is another play on words, and it doesn't really sound as good as intimacy when it comes to intimacy, but I really want you to think about intimacy as not just into me see, but into you I see me. And what I mean by that is that if we're going to be influential, if we're going to up our influence, we need a level of compassion for the people that we want to influence. We need a level of empathy for the people that we want to influence, and more and more, I'm relating this in my thinking place. I'm relating this to our ease in intimacy, because here's the thing: if say someone's doing something that you don't like, right? Say someone's doing something that is hard for you, or you want them to go the other way, or you want them to not do that, or you want this to stop, or you want that to start. You want to influence them, and you're upset with the way things are. You're not tolerating it anymore. You've had enough of things being the way that they are, or you don't like the way that someone's behaving. Then oftentimes what we can do is we can be very dictatorial, like, change that, stop that now. I don't get it. Like, people have said to me, women say to me all the time, I just don't get why they had to do it like that. I just don't get why it had to be this way. I just don't get why, it must mean that they're bad. It must mean that they're off. It must mean that they're inappropriate. It must mean something bad about them. But here's the thing that I'm thinking about with intimacy. I really am going somewhere. I hope you can catch me. But what I'm seeing is that there's an element of intimacy called "into you I see me" that speaks to this very, very, very closely. That intimacy is not just about being seen, but it's about seeing yourself in the other person. So, for example, if somebody is, got if someone's reacted to something that you don't like, well, intimacy, or "into you I see me," will require you to see yourself in their response. See yourself in that behavior that you don't like. See yourself in the way that they have responded or reacted or acted, right? So I'm trying to think of an example now. So say, I'm trying to think of an example now. So say somebody isn't stepping up to the plate, because someone isn't stepping up to the plate. And then in intimacy, just ask my daughter to call me back. In intimacy, you find out that it's because they're afraid. Well, you might not understand them not stepping up to the plate, or them not doing that thing, or doing it the wrong way. You might not understand that, but you do understand being afraid. You do understand being afraid that to a place where you can't act the way you should, right? Or you do understand feeling intimidated, say. You do understand that. So you might not understand their response, but intimacy asks that, you excuse their response and understand their motivation for that response, and seeing yourself in that motivation. So they're afraid, or they're intimidated, or they're, whatever, embarrassed, or they're guilty, or they're whatever they are, ashamed. Well, we might not understand their behavior, but intimacy, I think I'm going to call it the law of intimacy, says that not only does intimacy allow you to be seen, but also intimacy is about you seeing yourself in somebody else's situation, response, reaction. That you seeing yourself in them is also a form of intimacy, and it's powerful when it comes to being influential. It's powerful when it comes to opening up the door to be able to share and affect somebody else's behavior, or somebody else's thinking, or somebody else's. It's about me too, This is about me too. This is about you being able to say, well, I don't like that reaction, or that behavior, or that thing that you did, but I do understand. I see myself in your in the thinking. I see myself in that emotion. I see myself. I understand. Me too. Me too. So on this Valentine's Day, I'm going to watch this video back, so I'm not at all sure that I've made sense, but I really wanted you to consider that intimacy and our ease with intimacy is a really powerful enabler of our influence. And there are two parts to being intimate, I believe. It's like being able to see into someone who they really are, really see them for who they are, and love them anyway, despite whatever it is that you see. And the other side that I want to bring to you today is about being able to see into them yourself. So see in all the things that you don't like, all the things that, you know, wind you up the wrong way, all the things that grate you, you know, about that person, being able to see yourself in there and being able to have compassion and say, me too, you know, like, I get it. I get what I see in you. I get when I look at you, I see me. So oftentimes there's just real break that we point out their behavior and we don't realize that actually our behavior might be completely different, but the root of the behavior is actually living and alive and breathing and well inside of us. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to re-watch this video to see whether or not I'm saying what I want to say. I'm going to keep trying to make this point until I get it elegant. But that's another point, isn't it? That when you are doing something and it's the first time that you're doing it, it's a bit clunky, it's a bit inelegant. But I'm going to get more elegant at explaining this point, and I hope for those of you that are early adopters that you'll be able to catch the point that I'm trying to make right now, is that intimacy goes hand in hand with influence. Influence and intimacy go hand in hand, and it's not just about you being able to see into someone else and to see who they are, but when you see things that you don't like, when you see things that aren't right, when you see things that, you know, you'd want to stop or start or go away, that you take the time to understand how me too, how you see yourself in that thing too. I'm going to stop now. My name's Dion Johnson, the Womanologist, and happy Valentine's Day.